Welcome to the Ultimate Bloons TD6 strategy series, where I'm going to be showing you strategies for every single tower from the Dart Monkey to the Beast Handler and every single path in between. This will show you how to diversify your setup and get better, along with seeing some stats, tips and tricks, and all of the strategies for every single one of the towers. And although that the series is geared more towards Chimps mode, this will also show you a lot of tips and tricks that apply to the standard game and will allow you to win with a new style. Alright, we got the last of the Druids with quite the popular one, the Avatar of Wrath, coming also with the Pop Blast and the Druid of Wrath. These guys are super cool and you've probably seen them a lot, so let's get into them and show you how to use it. So the Druid of Wrath is used in one specific case, which I'll mention later in the video. Actually, it's more like two really. Pop Blast is an integral part of the Druid strategy, and you'll see it a lot with all the Druids. And the Avatar of Wrath does late game heavy damage. This guy's super common, so we'll see that a lot too. So now moving on to the stats. For some reason this didn't show up in the Bloons wiki, but the Druid of Wrath gains 10% extra attack speed for every 10 pops it gets in the round on a cooldown of 2 seconds, and it stacks at 50%. So that's kind of guaranteed to happen, really, if the thing is attacking. Anyways, Pop Blast will give 15% more pierce and 15% more attack speed, and it stacks up to 5 times, so we're really racking up the attack speed. And then the Avatar of Wrath gains +1 damage for every 3000 RBE on the screen and caps at 30 damage. So it isn't based on how many balloons are on the screen, it's how much RBE, which is red balloon equivalent. So if there's like a bunch of ZOMGs, it's going to get its RBE capped and it's going to be dealing a ton of damage. So this means it's weaker against DDTs and like weaker balloons, which is kind of funny. Anyways, the cross path we're going to get is O1X, so we're just going to get Thorn Swarm. The Heart of Oak doesn't really do much of anything, so we kind of can ignore it, and in some cases you might get 105, seeing that being better, but usually if you're doing Chimps Black Borders, that would not be the case. I used it in one kind of more specific case on Ravine Chimps where that was better. When it comes to the buffs, we're going to want that stronger stimulant across all of these Pop Blasts. We can just get a 104 and that will buff them, and then you can do a crazy strat with Perma-Brewed, and I'm going to be showing that. The Perma-Brew Pop Blast, it's going to be really cool. Oben's going to be really integral for all of these Druids. It's going to increase their pierce and attack speed even more, so they're going to be going absolutely crazy. Anyways, we get these guys up, they attack super fast, and they're going to be super good with Perma-Brew and a spam. You can also do Avatar of Wrath. Of course, it's going to have Oben. It's Alk buff too, because why not? But with this one, you do need MIB, so we're going to get MIB. The Perma-Brew spam strategy does not need MIB, because Perma-Brew gives permanent AMD, which MIB skips on the sharp type projectiles, which these guys have. And the maps that they're good on a lot of maps. It's a really powerful strategy, so you can do it quite in a lot of places, but it can even handle multi-lane maps only if they're coming in at the same direction. If there's balloons coming in all directions, it kind of can get overwhelming, but even on some of these maps, just because it's so strong, you usually can take it out with the strategy anyways. And for the hero, you want Oben for this one. Other heroes just really won't get you what you need, and it's a synergy that requires Oben. So its pros is that it's extremely strong strategy, it's a very common and popular strategy, and great on many maps. The cons is that it takes a decent amount of space to get the setup correctly, and it has a very specific build order that you do need to remember. So the objectives here are going to be the Pop Blast Druid setup, the Avatar of Wrath strat, and the Perma-Brew Pop Blast strategy. So anyways, starting off with this Pop Blast kind of setup thing, I've talked a lot about this. I don't know, for some reason I feel like I've been showing this in these videos so much. The whole ordeal of having Oben, you get some Druids next to it. You're going to be getting 6 Pop Blast Druids and 1 Druid of the Storm. We're going to outbuff Oben to get rid of the outbuffed Brambles, and then the Druid of the Storm up. That's just going to deal with the early game super easy. Then for round 40, it's just going to absolutely destroy round 40 no matter how short the map is, because it will one-shot the Moab layer with the outbuffed Bramble, and then the Druid of the Storm will push the ceramics back. I've talked about that so much. You just need to keep in mind for some space, and you're going to get that discount later. But in this one, we're going to be mixing it up. So we're going to be getting Perma-Brew on these guys, so we can get a double discount in there. Because we're not getting the MIB, because we have the Perma-Brew, we can just get range on both these guys, keep them a little bit further away, which is nice. And we're going to need some space because I do want a lot of Druids in here. I did not really do a good job of that, but I got enough regardless anyways. Its range is kind of short, so maybe like 10 of them would really be more than enough damage. And with Oban and all of these buffs with Populus, the Druid of Wrath, these things are going to be attacking so incredibly fast that the Perma-Brew's an insanely good synergy. Plus that, they have lots of projectiles, low damage, kind of moderate pierce. It's just a recipe for greatness with Perma-Brew. So I'm just going to get the 6 Populists up, that Druid in the back, 1 stronger stimulant, and it's time to save up for Perma-Brew. We don't want to spam the Druids just yet because we do need to get Perma-Brew. Sometimes I guess you could get a little 1 or 2 extra. In the case that I do here, because I realize that I'm going to be getting Perma-Brew kind of in the mid 80s, I could push it back to like around 83 or 84 just to ensure the save up is a little bit better, and I'll still get Perma-Brew just fine. It's around the same cost as Avatar of Wrath, so it's not like it's going to be any tricky to get, but I'm going to be getting those Druids anyway, so I might as well get them now, I guess. Just make sure that you aren't going to be going like way late into the late 80s or sorts. But even if you do, you probably could still survive because these guys are so insanely strong together, and especially with Oban, even when you have that wall of trees in the back to clean up, you're going to be doing good. So I'm going to save up into the Perma-Brew just fine. With that, we're going to absolutely destroy everything's going to be no issue. On top of that, I'm going to talk about the 003. So you don't really see this a lot, and this was one mistake that I make in this run. But if you did not know, the 003 and the Populus have the same exact stats. The only thing is that the Populus will buff each other, so it kind of seems like they're way better. And with the Alchemist buff, they kind of go insane. But they have the same stats, so if you have the max Populus buff, just don't get Populus. It's a waste of money. Just get the 003 instead. And this was a mistake I made here. A lot of these guys don't need to be Populus. They could just be the 003. It's going to be a lot more efficient, save a lot more money. So when you're doing this strategy, and I guess the only other use for it is if you're doing total transformation, then you use it there. When you're doing that, just keep that in mind. If you have the max stacks, you could just get an 013. Then it's going to be doing the same as a Populus in that situation and save you some money. So here I just get some more Druids. We have a whole crew. They're doing an insane amount of damage. We can get a damage debuff on this. Glue gunner, like a Moab glue, will help a lot. And they're going to absolutely shred everything. DDTs, ZMGs around 98, 99, 100 even is just going to go down. It's literally crazy. A really cool and awesome strategy that if you haven't used, or if you been just using Avatar of Wrath over and over again, just change it up, do the Perma-Brew instead, and it's going to be so much cooler and very, very awesome. It's really similar to Avatar of Wrath too. You just don't get the you get range on the other discount because you don't have to get MIB. Maybe get 1 or 2 more Druids for the save up. It's 51k. It's practically like the same-ish price, and you can just have a fun strategy. Anyways, let's go into this next example where we are going to be doing the classic Avatar of Wrath. So this one's pretty simple, and you've probably seen it before, but I'll just go over it very quickly. So this strategy is like really, really popular and has been for a very long time too. I think like pretty much since the start of the game, people were like, oh, just get a handful of Druids, outbuff them, and get Avatar of Wrath, and you're going to be doing so good. So it's kind of just like the same thing. It's all really chill. It's just going to destroy absolutely everything. Well, kind of not so much maybe the DDTs. The DDTs, you get them a little bit of support, and it's going to take that out too. Round 100 will also take out well, and on like any intermediate map, you can just get the initial setup, and that's going to be all you need. Like, for example here, I just got up what I needed, the Avatar of Wrath, just a relentless glue, I think, for the DDTs to make sure those go down, and I was able to just AFK the rest of the game like it was nothing. So we just get our few Druids up for the start. That Druid of the Storm will help us with the early game, around 40. Everything's going to be pretty easy. Then we're going to grab that Alchemist up to Stim. It's going to be on Oban, and then some of these other Druids. We'll then grab another Alchemist up, just 6 of them. That will give you the max stacks possible, and then 2 401s will give us the good spread of alch juice. yeah, they're all juiced up. The alchemists will juice them up, make them way stronger. They'll fail the Druid test, but who cares, because we're going to destroy everything anyways. You just need to make sure that one of those villages have strums. The other one will have camo detection later on. Obid now gives camo detection at level 8, which is pretty cool, so we don't have to buy it just yet, but with MIB, we'll eventually have to go down that path anyway, so just make sure that path is reserved for MIB. We can get one of these guys up, particularly, I guess, the one that has priority buff on one of the alchemists might be nice. Just anyone that's going to be good for Avatar of Wrath. Usually they're all going to be doing just fine. So grab one of those up to Avatar of Wrath. We'll save up for it. And then you just get MIB and you sit and wait and kind of wait, because it's just going to be very good and destroying everything. Now I did say if you use this strategy a lot, it might really be fun to try the Perma-Brew one. They're very, very similar. Both are extremely powerful. And they will just rip apart everything. I'd say that the Perma-Brew one is actually more powerful-ish in most cases. Probably the Avatar Wrath is kind of easier to wrap your mind around and set up though, but a lot of people use it and it's just really strong. When there's only just like a few ZMGs on the screen, it's going to hit its max RBE and it's going to be dealing 34 damage per projectile, and there's a lot of projectiles, and when you get all of the Druids and Oben, attack speed buff, pierce buffs, this thing will just literally shred through everything, and it's super cool and super satisfying. So a good while ago in this run, I just went AFK, and it took down everything, no worries, round 102. So that's the Avatar Wrath strat. This tower has some really cool uses. You can bring together Oben and Druids very well, and it's great overall. So that's all, and bye. Thanks for watching. If you want to help out the channel, you can check out these new videos, like and subscribe for more content, support the channel by becoming a member, and joining the Discord to chat with the community. Bye!